there were in Mahabharata war, and it is said 18 Akshonis army. That means 11 Akshonis on the Kaurav side and 7 Akshonis on the Pandav side. This is what is mentioned in Mahabharata. And during that time, the calculation was done on the basis of not the modern mathematics, but it was based on which is known as patti. And in one patti, one chariot, one elephant, 5 soldiers, and 3 horse riders. This was in one patti. So in one akshoni, how much was there? And in one akshoni, it was written 21,870 chariots, 21,870 elephants, 1,09,350 soldiers, and 65,610 horse riders. This was in one akshoni. So in 18 akshoni, if we multiply this figure by 18, we get 3,93,660 on the chariots, 3,93,660 on the elephants, 19,68,300 soldiers, and 11,80,980 horse riders. These are in 18 akshonis. Now, on the chariot, one is the person who is driving the chariot, and one is the warrior. So, two. Even on the elephant, one is the person who is driving the elephant and the other is the warrior. So, there are 2. So, we multiply this figure by 2. So, 7,87,320 on the chariot, 7,87,320 on the elephants, 19 lakhs soldiers, and 11 lakhs on the as horse riders. So, if we totally figure this, it is round about 47 lakhs 23,920 people in the war. Right? So, about 50 lakhs the figure is. Only 2-3 lakhs less. So, this many people are standing in the war field. Now, if we see, each one had a family. So, 47 lakhs, even if there are 4 in a family,
Those days there were
much more, but still if we take up 4, those days there were many children, isn't it? 10, 12, 13, 15, I don't know how many. But if we just take up minimum 4 also in a family, multiply this figure by 4. And not only that, it is said that after sunset, because there were no floodlights during that time, no missiles or anything, so they used to practically battle. So supposing after the sunset, the war used to stop. That is how it went on for 18 days. The war, as shown in Mahabharata, it went on for 18 days. 18 figure is very prominent. 18 chapters, 18 akshonis, 18 days of war, isn't it? So 18 days it went on. And then it is said that after sunset, they would get together and they would sit together and talk also. They were friends. They eat together. They ate and drank together. Now just imagine if it is a wedding in our house and if 100 people are invited. How many people in the kitchen to make the food? So many. At least 50 people are needed to make the preparation and for the food also. Right? So just imagine 47 lakhs. How many people were needed to cook their food? Huh? So many? Okay, even if it is a simple food, to make chapatis, how many people are needed? Huh? Still, we need people, isn't it, to cook 4,700,000 people. Hmm? No chapatis? They don't need chapatis for 18 days. Just ate rice. These were the people of Haryana. These are not South Indians who used to eat chawal and enough. No, they Haryana, Punjab people, they ate rice only. They ate chapatis only, parathas. And if the war goes on for 18 days, just imagine the grain store, the vegetables. Chalo, they were not making pakwans. No, mithai is okay. But at least some basic things they needed. So to cook that also, to cut the vegetables also. Okay, only rice and vegetable. To make the curry, but at least they need people to cut the curry also. To cut the vegetables also. And 47,000 lakhs people, for them, just imagine how much time they used to make the rice. Because the containers, how big the container should be if they want to make it in once in a time. So this shows, I'm trying to make you realize there is a realization behind this. And I'm trying to make you realize that what is the figure that is amounting to? People to cook, and not only that, it is said when the people died, as soon as there is sunset, they used to go with a torch and find out all those people who were killed. So they would bring them and burn them, cremate them. And then all those who were still alive, they would bring them and take them to hospitals. So there were enough doctors also, nurses also, looking after them also. So many people. So all this figure would amount to the population of Bharat. I'm trying to show you that the population amounts to the number of the people of Bharat today. 140 crores. This is why in the scripture it is not mentioned the war of Kurukshetra, it is mentioned Mahabharata war. Because the whole Bharat, which was undivided at that time, because those who saw the future of the world, they did not see Bharat in a divided form. They saw in the undivided form from Afghanistan to Far East. So all these people, they were of one land, of one culture, of one system of life. And that is why all this is said to be Mahabharata. And when this is Mahabharata, this battle is going on till today. And today also it is a battle of Mahabharata that is going on. And all these figures, if we accumulate them, it results into the practical population of the Southeast Asia population. So Kurukshetra is not just a plain in Haryana, but there is a Kurukshetra within each one of us. It is within our psyche that the devilish and the divine powers are drawn upon in array against each other, and it is within the mind that this battle has to be constantly fought. So everyone is fighting. Everyone is fighting in today's world, isn't it? And so the Gita unfolds in 700 shlokas or verses. spread it over 18 adhyayas or chapters. The first chapter as stating the problem of the human situation. Second chapter as stating the central issues of the approaches to resolving them. From chapter 3 to 17 as elaborating these approaches, and in chapter 18 as a summing up of the whole thing. So this is just the essence that we have seen of Bhagwad Gita. Bhagwad Gita is actually a dialogue between Arjuna and God. So between you and God. We have made this world very complex and polluted. We can make this world a better place to live in, provided each person instills his faith in oneself and is clear as to where does he want to go, what is the purpose of his life, how will he reach the goal that he has created for himself. So Bhagwad Gita gives us a purpose of life, being in this world. What do I stand for? And where do I have to go? What is the aim of my life? So it gives a clear vision to individuals about how to direct the life. So the first chapter, which is known as Vishada Yoga, lamenting on the consequences of the war. So Kurukshetra is a scene of a war field. It is a scene that is created. And there are two main characters, God himself and Arjuna. The witness to them are Akshoni, millions of soldiers, and their commanders. As soon as the names of both the armies are proclaimed, Arjuna feels deeply disheartened. The fear in him is because of the thought of losing his near and dear ones. Even the sin of committing such a grave act of war. We are always told by people that why Arjuna got disheartened. We all know why he got disheartened. When he said to God, take my chariot in middle. I want to see both the armies. After seeing both the armies, he was disheartened. What made him disheartened? Huh? The attachment. Attachment to whom? Bhishma Pitama. All the family members. Now just imagine all the Kauravas, family members, who has always done injustice to the Pandavas since childhood. Can he have attachment to anyone? And the elders never took their side, never gave them justice. Do you think he can have attachment for them? Supposing in your life, if you and your cousins are there, and your cousins are always doing injustice to you since childhood, and the elders of the family would never speak a word, never do justice, will you ever have attachment to them? Huh?
Surrender.
What?
Surrender.
Surrender to whom?
To them.
To the elders? To the elders? Will you be able to do that? No way. Not in today's world.
He had knowledge.
Yeah.
Arjuna had knowledge.
So what? Knowledge was afterwards. Knowledge was afterwards.
Just out of respect.
Out of respect?
I mean, to the elders that are.
In today's world, do anybody do this? Small children, they would also tell their parents, they've always done injustice to us. Please don't take their side. Don't they tell you in your families? Yes. They will never allow you to do this. So will Arjuna ever have attachment for those who have done injustice to them? Never. He didn't have attachment for them. But he had definitely got attached to, but not with the Kauravas. It is said when he saw both the armies. So one side he saw the army of Kauravas, then the other side when he saw his army, He remembered that when Draupadi had asked God, "Can you tell me the result of this war?" So Krishna said, the 5 Pandavas would be protected. Nothing would happen to them. They will be victorious. So then Draupadi asked, "What about my children?" So God said, "I cannot guarantee you for the children. I can guarantee for the 5 Pandavas, nothing would happen to them, but I cannot guarantee you for the children." And this Arjuna knew God had taken our guarantee of making us win the battle, but he has not taken the guarantee for the children. And any father who has a fear of losing his children would get disheartened, would never want to get into a war like this. He would think, even after we become victorious and we get everything, but would we be able to experience the happiness of having that victory after losing our children? So the attachment was there, but for his children, not for those who have done injustice to them. But nobody till now ever explained us to this. And this is what happens. People in the world may be very principled, but supposing somebody kidnaps their children, and in order to release the children, if they ask for something where he has to compromise his principles, would he do it or not? Yes. So this was the position for Arjuna also. That is why he thought and he argued with God. He was lamenting again and again of the consequences of the war, that after losing everything, we will never be able to experience the happiness. So why should I go for it? It is better for me to be in the jungles, again roam around, but at least our family will be with us. That will be the happiness. So this is why. So here Arjuna is a symbolic for the consciousness of those people who are trapped within their own desires and relationships. When there is a constant war going on between one's virtues and vices within one's mind, then the mind gets exhausted and is not ready to fight with the devilish powers any further. And the intellect is not able to judge except to give up, surrender to the devilish powers. Surrender, let them do everything. Especially when a person goes through a long sickness, or there are so many family conflicts going on, or there are tensions after tensions, stress, and there are failures one after the other in life. That is when a person gives up, doesn't want to fight anymore. And he gives up for bad habits, maybe want to go into the state of nasha, intoxication. This is what is happening in today's world. So in the second chapter, it is the spiritual wisdom about the soul and its application, the dialogue between God and Arjuna in context of the coward attitude of Arjuna. From 11 to 30, the topic of Sankhya Yoga, the body being the costume and the soul being immortal. From 31st to 38th verse, the eternal transcendental nature of the soul. And from 39th verse to 53rd, the art of yoga for righteous karma. 54th verse to 72, the attributes and the praise of the man with a stable intellect. So Arjuna surrenders himself in front of God and tells him to guide him and says, "Now instruct me. I am your disciple at this time." The chapter, often deemed as a summary of the entire Bhagwad Gita, Here many subjects are explained such as Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Sankhya Yoga, Buddhi Yoga and the soul. And predominance has been given to the immortal nature of the soul existing within all living entities. So the intellect in today's world is not able to judge and the mind is tired. Thus the individual is drawn to depression because there is no power within to direct or rule the mind in the right direction. A ray of hope is only possible when the Supreme Intellectual Personality guides you, when the Supreme descends and answers the questions which are distracting the mind of an individual. The truth is, you are a soul and not the body. And very beautifully it is mentioned in the second chapter, that this body is the field to perform action, karma kshetra. Karma kshetra, where we have to perform actions. Whatever seed in the form of good or bad action is sown, grows into the form of a particular sanskar, that is a personality trait. The expansion of this field are our senses, through which we perform actions. Human being is dependent on these three gunas, sato, rajo, and tamo, to perform actions. He is not able to stay without action even for a moment. And this is why this is known as the field, that is karma kshetra, which is ultimately mispronounced as Kurukshetra. It is not that Kurukshetra, but karma kshetra that is mispronounced as Kurukshetra. So in the field of action where everyone is battling, fighting in life. Beautifully God says, especially when Arjuna is lamenting, what will happen? The grief that is coming out. So God says to him, in the body, a human being has to pass through three stages: childhood, youth, and old age. Similarly, to attain a new body is also the stage of transformation. Within that process, the soul is not destroyed. Supposing a child, when he goes into the youth stage, will anybody lament, cry, or feels happy? Huh? Happiness. A child is growing up, is getting into his youth stage. Then from youth to adolescence, again people are happy. His taking up responsibilities now, he has become so strong enough to take up responsibilities. And from adolescence to old age, every time when there is this transformation in life, people feel happy. From adolescence to old age, he is becoming so experienced now. He has so much of wisdom. We can get the wisdom from him. This old age also, on the basis of the experiences, are able to guide. So nobody ever cries when a child goes to youth, or a youth goes to adolescence, or an adolescent going to old age. Then from old age, when the soul has so much of power to do something, but because the body is not cooperating, he wants to take another body where he can at least bring out what the power he has. Why do we have to cry then? That was the question asked by God to Arjuna, that in these different stages of transformation, you did not cry. Why do you have to cry when the soul takes another body? He wants to do so much. He has so much of strength. He has so much of capacity, capabilities. So let him go further. The soul is immortal throughout. The soul is not perishing. So why do we have to cry or lament on this. And then beautiful here, this I just wanted to show you, and I had to come to that it all depends on the capacity of each Bharatvasi to tolerate happiness or sorrow, cold and heat, praise and defamation. These are part of nature, the ups and downs. Ups and downs are there always in life. Beautifully, somebody shared with me, I was talking to a person who was from a medical field, and he said that, look, when any person comes to us for a ECG, for the heart, ECG, the cardiogram, then when we take out the cardiogram and see how does the heart function, like this, isn't it? And when it goes like this in a very systematical manner, that means the heart is functioning good. If there is a straight line, dead. Similarly, in life also, when there are ups and downs, means you are alive. You have the capacity. You have creative ideas. When the graph goes down, you start thinking, now what shall we do to come out of it so that we again go up, right? So the creativity is emerging. And sometimes you have beautiful ideas. So this is part of life which is making you active. If you don't have these ups and downs in life, if it becomes a straight line, you will be dead. Right? No creativity, no enthusiasm, no courage, no हिम्मत ही खत्म हो जाएंगी. Right? So these are part of life. And it depends on each Bharatvasi to tolerate. So now when God is asking him to tolerate in the second chapter itself, he didn't ask him to fight. If you tolerate, how can you fight? In order to fight, you cannot tolerate. Zero tolerance. Then only you can fight. So this is like a paradox. You see? On one hand, it is a battlefield. And on the other hand, he is asking him to tolerate and let the ups and downs of life. So this shows it was not a physical war. It was not a violent war that God had advised him for, but it was the battle of life. And in this life, sometimes you have to win the battle of life by tolerating. You cannot always react. I don't know how many of you know how to fly a kite. Huh? Do you know how to fly a kite? Have you seen people flying kites? And in flying a kite, sometimes they have to pull the string and sometimes they have to loosen. Let go, let go, let go. If they start pulling the string, when they have to let go, gone. They will be cut. Isn't it? So, when to let go in life and when to, this is the art of living. And this is what God is advising him, that it depends on how much you can tolerate. And the more you are able to do, let go, tolerance, and you'll win the battle of life. Every time you do not have to come into reaction. Sometimes you know how to let go also. This is the wisdom that is given for individual battling. And then he says, the vices and the awareness and the attitude makes one victorious in such a way as water would take its form when placed in a mold. Water itself does not have its own shape. But whichever mold you put the water in, it will take that shape. If you put the water in a glass, it will take the shape of a glass. If you put in a pot, it will take the shape of a pot. If you put in a mug, maybe it will take the shape of a mug. The same thing, the consciousness has no form of its own. Whichever mold I place that consciousness is, it is going to take that form. If I give the mold of positivity, it will take the shape of a positive attitude, positive consciousness. If I place that consciousness in a negative mold, it will become complete negative. So it depends upon me, in order to win the battle of life, which mold I'm choosing for putting my consciousness in. So beautiful wisdom he has given. How to win the battle of life. Check which mold you are giving for your consciousness. Positive or negative. Consciousness does not have its own shape. It all depends upon the mold that I'm giving to my consciousness. And accordingly, our karma would be. That has to be understood. So this is a conflict between the field and the field man. It is not a violent war. It is a non-violent war in which the devilish traits have to be completely demolished and allow the consciousness to be stabilized in the remembrance of one. A stable person's soul cannot be possessed by his senses and vices, as he sees himself to be equal in happiness and sorrow. And he becomes worthy to attain the element of nectar. It's only when he goes through this battle, and if he takes up a positive mold for his consciousness, then he will be able to achieve that nectar of life and make the life so beautiful. It all depends upon the self, whether I want to constantly battle in my life or whether I learn the skill and adopt the mold of positivity and make my life smooth. No matter how many ups and downs there are in life, but I know how to handle myself, I know how to handle the situation, and I know how to handle everything around me. So this is the wisdom that God is giving to Arjuna. So beautiful. And then in the last slide that I would like to show, that the soul never dies. It is the eternal entity ever existing. The soul cannot be killed when the body is killed. The 5 elements of nature cannot harm the soul in any way. The glow of the soul increases with the virtues and dims with the vices. The soul is powerful when not entangled with worldly bondages and weakens when entangled in worldly bondages. We all know the soul is immortal. It cannot be cut with a sword, not can it be burnt by the fire, not can it get wet through water, or nor can be dried through the air. Soul is beyond the nature. It is above that. It cannot be influenced. The only thing that influences is the virtues, values, and the weaknesses, the vices. We all have heard one thing in life. We all have heard that each one of us has an aura around us. Whatever mold I have adopted for myself, the positive or negative, when I have adopted a positive mold, my aura increases. But when I have adopted a negative mold for my consciousness, my aura dims. And it is seen, you all have this experience in life, that many a times, one after the other, there are bad messages that we are getting, bad vibrations that we are getting, bad happenings in our life. We lose at every. You are walking on the street and you just twist your leg, you fall and you break, fracture it. Second, as soon as you come home, you get the message your son has failed in his exams. And you'll say, what is this? One after the other, I'm getting bad messages only. What is happening? That shows that your aura has dimmed. It is not enough to cope up, to fight against the negativity in the environment. And that is why, because of the negative mold somewhere you have adopted, you are attracting all the negative things in your life, all the negative happenings in your life. Have you experienced that? And sometimes, when you are in a positive state of mind, one after the other, you get good messages only. You have passed, you have gained a lottery maybe, you have got something cleared out, some case you have won in it. All good things happening. That shows that when your aura is positive, bright, you are attracting all the good happenings in your life. That is why when people's life, when they are attracting all the negative things in life, negative happenings in life, and they get frustrated, where will they go to? Where will they go to? To an astrologer. To an astrologer. What is happening this in my, isn't it? I said, right? What is happening in my life? Can you tell me about time? What is going on? And then he will create a fear in you. अरे आपके ऊपर 7.5 लग गई. For 7.5 years, this is going to happen. Or for ढैया लग गई है. For 2.5 years, this is going to happen. You are going through a very bad time. This is your worst part. So then people get afraid and then they say, now is there any means to overcome this? And what will he say? Yes, there is. You have to perform a yajna. And in that yajna, at least you have to write 100,000 times the name of God. You have to chant that much and you have to swaha. Or maybe you have to feed some poor. You have to do this. You have to do some donation in the hospital. Whatever the problem is, accordingly they suggest. You have to do this. Now, what do they mean to say actually? They mean to say that your aura has diminished. And because you have adopted a negative mold for yourself, so when the aura is, it is attracting all the negativities, negative happenings in your life. So when you write name of God 100,000 times, 1 lakh times, supposing, when you write the name of God for 100,000 times, during that time you will not think ill about anyone. So you will be in a positive frame of mind when you are writing the name of God. And then you conduct a yajna and you swaha that. So during that time also you are not going to think negative about anyone. Then you donate in some for the poor or for here and there, do some good karma. So when you do that good karma, your aura is going to brighten. That's the only logic and science behind it. So when the aura increases, then you will start attracting all good things again in your life. This is the only science that is behind this, behind astrology. If they had that much of power, then there should never be any negative happenings in their life only. But life is such. It comes and everything depends upon our karma and our state of mind. Right? So from today, whenever anything happens, you get frustrated, realize I need to increase my aura. That means I need to keep myself in a positive frame of mind. Today in your house, maybe your small children may sometimes, grandchildren may sometimes tell you, be positive, sab theek ho jayega. Don't they tell you? They tell you, be positive. They have that much of understanding. And we go to the astrologers and here and there.
Wish money.
Wish money, maybe feng shui, bring this and bring that and bring this in the house, put here and put here, there. People start giving good luck on those tortoises and everything. Now, if a tortoise can bring good luck, then there can never be bad luck if when a person immediately places the good luck in his house. Huh? Yeah. So all this shows that there is this science. What mold have I chosen for myself? And Gita tells us this very beautifully. Generate your values in such a, or bring positive mold in your state of mind and expand your positive aura, and you will start attracting all good things in your life. There will never be Sade Sati or never be Daya in your life forever. This is my understanding on the basis of Gita. The only thing you need to do is collect as much as blessings as you can. When you are in a positive frame of mind, you are going to collect all the blessings. Do good things, and good things will earn you blessings only. And when you have blessings, you are increasing your aura, and then you are going to attract all good things. But when your blessings diminish, all bad things are going to happen in your life. Okay? So we end here. Thank you very much. Any questions?